Hi, and welcome to Seen and Heard. My name is Allison Tristo, and I'm the Community Field Representative for Western United Dairies. Today, we have Melissa Lema on the podcast from CMAB to talk about the upcoming elections for their board. So let's get into it.
Hi, folks. Hope you had a great week. The dairy markets are definitely in a better place than we were about a month or so ago here as we close out August and flip the calendars to September, believe it or not. Cheese markets jumped higher early in the week amid tighter milk supplies, which were spurred by hot weather in key production regions, particularly across the Midwest last week. But on Friday, we saw spot blocks retreat some. They did end the week, though, at $1.95 per pound, still up a half a cent over last week. Barrels finished at $1.87, that's 7 cents higher. Meanwhile, trading volume on both of those products was the lowest we've seen since November of 2021. So certainly helping the fact that there seems to be a little less fresh cheddar available to come to Chicago. Keep in mind the cheese that trades in Chicago is less than 30 days old. So when we see these weather events, it can certainly tighten up that fresh cheese availability. Over on butter, cream seems to be a little bit looser, but we're heading into a holiday weekend. We do know that butter stocks remain adequate, but butter continues to hold at quite nice levels. We started the week off in the low 260s. However, closed the week out at 266, down a penny. We saw 44 lots change hands. That was another good week of pretty good volume. Moving over to non-fat dry milk, I would say that's the one commodity that's been under quite some pressure here. Weak global demand conditions continue to hit those markets. We saw our domestic price drop as low as $1.0725. That's the lowest price we've seen since November of 2020. We will get another global dairy trade event on Tuesday, which will give us another look as to how product out of Oceania will be priced and understand a little bit better about the competitive landscape there as we compete for exports with Oceania. Corn dipped a little lower on the week with September contract trading at $4.6475. Monday will be closed due to the Labor Day holiday, and Tuesday, as I mentioned, we'll get a global dairy trade event. We will also get the dairy products report. Other than that, it's a relatively quiet week as we head into mid-September. Please reach out with any questions.
Are you tired of hearing that the main way to save water is fallowing? Are you tired of seeing articles about how alfalfa and corn waste water? At Common Good Water, we combine the best-in-class subsurface drip system and precision crop management services, including pest control. Our verification program qualifies for public funding, and we want to help you continue farming in California. Contact your groundwater sustainability agency and ask how you can work with Common Good Water. Visit commongoodwater.com.
Pacific Gas and Electric is here to remind you that signs keep you safe. Sections of our natural gas transmission pipeline travel underground and beneath agricultural land. For the safety of you, your family, and your employees, pipeline markers are placed to indicate the approximate location of the pipe as a reminder to use extra care. Removing a pipeline marker creates a serious safety hazard. To have additional markers placed or report damaged or missing markers, please call your PG&E account manager or our agricultural customer service center at 877-311-3276. To learn more, visit www.pge.com/agsafety. Remember, signs keep you safe.
So Melissa, do you want to talk about your background in dairy as well as your current position at CMAB?
Yes, thanks, Allison. So I grew up on our family dairy. My grandparents had a dairy. They sold out in the late 90s here in Humboldt County, and I was really just in love with the dairy industry, and I decided to kind of stick to it. I grew up showing in 4-H and FFA, and that led me to attending Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I have a degree in dairy science and ag business. And then in about 2011, I started working for Western United Dairies, and I worked there for almost 12 years. And then last fall, an opportunity came up with the California Milk Advisory Board, and it was just something different. I was looking to kind of try something different. I was getting a little burned out on the regulatory end of things. And so I was able to take on the role of Director of Producer Relations here at the California Milk Advisory Board. So it's been almost a year, and I'm finally feeling like I have my feet on the ground a little. I'm learning more and more about the programs and the producers, and I'm really excited to continue to serve dairy producers in California and get to share with you guys a little bit about what we're up to at the Milk Advisory Board.
Definitely. So CMAB has some elections coming up. Can you kind of talk about what that process looks like and how that goes?
Yes. So as a producer checkoff, it's very important that our producers have a say in how their money is spent and how we're marketing California dairy products. And the most important way that happens is through our board of directors. Obviously, it's right in the name. The California Milk Advisory Board is a board of dairy producer directors. Our elections process kicks off in the fall, and the term for producers will start in the spring. March 1st is when the term officially starts. Then newly elected members are seated at our board meeting in mid-March. But we are looking for interested producers to run for several positions. If you go to our California Dairy Farmers Facebook page, we'll have a list of those positions posted from each district, what's available. We have both director and alternate positions. And so that kind of really kicked off last week. The mailing went out requesting self-nominations. That process lasts through next week, September 8th. So if you or a producer might be interested in serving on the board, or you just have someone in your area who you think is an awesome leader that would have good input for the Milk Advisory Board, we would love to chat with them. You can reach out to me, or they can reach out to me, and I'll put contact info. I'll send it over to you, Allison, for the show notes. But my email address is just mlema@cmab.net. And then once the self-nomination period is over, ending next week, we will review the nominations, make sure that everything is current and everybody is qualified. And then ballots will go out toward the mid or end of September. And we'll have a target deadline of early October for those to come back. So a pretty exciting time. I think we have 5 or 6 board positions that are available this year. And again, if you or someone is a dairyman that has a lot of good thoughts about how we market milk in California, we would love to visit with you about the position.
Definitely. So how often do meetings occur, and what does the time commitment look like as a board member?
That's a great question. So we have a meeting coming up in mid-September. Our meetings are held quarterly. They're usually a 2-day meeting, but quite honestly, it ends up being about a day and a half. So producers will come in early on Tuesday morning. We have a full day of meetings, on Wednesday morning. And then on Thursday, usually about a half a day. Our meetings are usually located in the Central Valley. They kind of toggle back and forth between the South Valley and more up in the Modesto area. But we do once or twice a year go out of the valley. So this December, we'll be heading to Santa Barbara. This last May, we did have a meeting in LA where we were able to meet at the offices of one of our agencies, Deutsch. So a couple times a year, we travel a little farther, but mostly they're located in the Central Valley. And again, just a quarterly meeting. So it is a bit of a time commitment, but it's not too crazy for producers.
Melissa, at these meetings, what's kind of talked about? Can you go into depth as to what the producers get to decide on and what they're getting to put their input in on?
Yeah, absolutely. So as many of our producers know, the CMAB is run on checkoff dollars that come right out of their check every month. And it's really important that we have producer input and validation for the programs we have. So I think in a few weeks, Bob Carroll, our Vice President of Business Development, is going to be on, and he's going to really go in depth about many of the programs we have. But for like a basic overview today, at the meetings, every department at CMAB gives a really in-depth report about what's going on, what they've been up to. That includes our business development team, which is a retail team, the food service team, the California Dairy Innovation Center gives an in-depth report. Our international team speaks to what they've been doing to sell dairy products overseas. I will give a report. So I'm usually the shortest report, but we talk a little bit about producer engagement and how that's been going. And then our communications and advertising team, which I will give them a shout out. They seem to be the most popular. They're the fun crew, and they get to talk a lot about what is going into the advertising and communications and the social media, all the ways that we communicate out to the public how dairy products are part of a good, healthy, balanced diet. So it's usually about 6 or 7 hours on Wednesday, and I said half a day on Thursday of just in-depth looks at how our teams are working to promote and sell dairy products from California all over the state, the country, and the world. And I mean, it is really just kind of a raw dig into every little thing that we're doing. And it's so interesting. And we encourage producer attendance at these meetings, even if you're not on the board. They're open to all California dairy producers. And as I mentioned, we have a meeting coming up on September 13th and 14th. Producers are welcome to attend that meeting and learn a little bit more about what we're doing. I think there's kind of a basic understanding out there about CMAB's programs, but when you attend the meetings, you get a really in-depth look, all the intricacies of how we're marketing and promoting California dairy products.
Awesome. And are there any other upcoming producer events?
Yeah, so we are working on quite a few events for producers. So that's sort of my job, is how we take the programs that are happening at CMAB and bring those back to the producers and a kind of a fun way. So one thing that is upcoming that I think producers can participate in and we'll have a lot of fun with is we are kicking off our Give a Gallon Challenge this September during Hunger Action Month. And we're going to be doing a little Super Bowl between our college campuses. So we're working with a couple already. We have a couple more tapped to join in. So mid-September through mid-October, we're going to be challenging our college advocacy groups in the dairy industry to purchase or get donations of gallons of milk for their local food banks. And we really want producers to engage on that. I think it's going to be a fun way to give your alma mater a little boost and have a little fun while still getting a nutritious, valuable dairy products into the hands of folks that may be having a hard time affording them. So we really hope producers will jump on that. As I mentioned, we do have our board meeting coming up September 13th and 14th. Again, that is open to dairy producers. If you are interested in attending, drop me an email and we will get you on the list. We just like to know for, planning purposes how many are coming, but of course they're welcome to just drop by as well. That's going to be in Merced this month, so very accessible for producers. And then throughout the fall, we have a couple of dairy related events that we will attend. There's a couple shows happening in the Valley. CMAB will be there with a booth handing out goodies. Make sure if you see us, you stop by and pick up a little bit of dairy producer swag. We're also going to be at WADPA, the Western Organic Dairy Producers Convention, in November, and it's happening way up in Humboldt County. So if organic producers happen to be around, make sure you say hi. And yeah, just throughout the rest of the year, we're kind of popping up at a lot of dairy related events, and we're going to be working on more events like the Give a Gallon Challenge to engage producers in that sort of giving back aspect of CMAB.
Awesome. Melissa, is there anything else you'd like to link the producers with before we wrap this up?
First of all, I just want to say thanks for giving us the opportunity today to join you. I'm really excited to be back in my old stomping ground. The podcast has certainly come a long way in the last year, so congratulations on that. I just also would like to say, again, in regards to our elections, it is really so important for producers to be engaged in the California Milk Advisory Board. We are spending your dollars to sell your products to consumers. Even if you are mildly interested, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you about it. As I said, we have board member positions. Those are a bit more of a commitment, but we also have positions for alternates. And maybe if you're wanting to kind of dip your toe in the water and learn a little bit more about CMAB and what we do, that would be a good avenue for you. But I just can't stress enough how important producer engagement is on this end of things. I know producers are stressed. They have a lot going on, but I do think when they can look at things from a different perspective and sit on the CMAB board and learn a little bit more about how things work at the kind of retail and selling the product level, hopefully that helps them understand and maybe feel a little bit better about how their milk is being sold. So yeah, I just really hope for engagement. It's tough out there. And I think every producer industry partner can attest to the fact that it's tough to get producers involved. I honestly don't blame them. They're like I said, there's a lot going on and they're really stressed, but it is important for them to be a voice in their industry. So Again, I'll provide contact info in the show notes, but please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you think CMAB would be a good fit in an event you're doing, or we do a lot of this time of year and in the spring, a lot of work with our schools to send promotional items out for Ag Days so that the students can get a really hands-on learning experience about California dairy. Please reach out about things like that as well. We're happy to send you items for, whether it's a school event, a church event, any kind of community forum. Please let us know. We also, as many of you know, have our Dairy Princess ambassadors who are happy to attend community-based events to help promote the dairy industry as well. So we have all those fun things going on, and I hope to hear from producers if they have, questions or would like to know how to be more involved.
Thank you, Melissa. Thanks for taking time to come on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me today. Take care.
Thanks again, Melissa, for coming on the podcast, and thank you to those who are listening. If you would like a notification when a new episode releases, you could subscribe to the podcast. Have a good week.
Did you know that you can turn your dairy manure into cash? Bennett Environmental is offering above-ground dairy digesters at no cost to you. These systems can also remove nitrates from your lagoons to help you comply with water board regulations. Our proven above-ground technology will generate income for your dairy into the foreseeable future. Because we truck the renewable natural gas off-site, your dairy can profit regardless of your location. Bennett Environmental, turning your wastewater liabilities into sustainable assets. Learn more at bennett-environmental.com.
Yosemite Farm Credit is the farmer's choice for agriculture financing. As a farmer-owned cooperative, we are dedicated to serving our neighbors in the agriculture community with financial products and services tailored to your operation and backed with a relationship you can trust. Whether you're purchasing real estate, making improvements to the dairy, or wanting to purchase or lease equipment, we're here to help our members prosper. Visit our website at YosemiteFarmCredit.com to find a branch location nearest you.
Thank you to the Western United Dairies generous business sponsors, the Morning Star Company, Holt of California, Farm Credit Alliance, PG&E, Arata, Swingle, Van Egmond and Goodwin Law Offices, Yosemite Farm Credit, F&R Ag Services, Moss Energy Works, California Dairy Magazine, Bennett Environmental, and Common Good Water. We appreciate our sponsors and thank them for their continued support. While Western United Dairies respects the varied views of our guests, please note that the opinions expressed in the Seen and Heard podcast may not necessarily reflect the positions of the Western United Dairies Board of Directors or our sponsors. If you would like more information on how to sponsor Western United Dairies or this podcast, please send us an email at info@wudairies.com.